Name one job that will be here in 10 years, and I will show you a robot that's already doing it. Go to Boston Dynamics YouTube channel and tell me that they don't already have a robot to replace anything that you have to say. Every time somebody says, oh, well, what about a roofer? Bro, a roofing robot was invented 2 years ago. On top of the roof, it will remove the shingles and install new shingles all as it's going over top of the roof. Already happening. Let's look at the transportation industry. 7 million people work in the transportation industry. Uber drivers, truck drivers, logistical people, all of those people, 7 million people, are they going to be around in 5 years?
What about pilots? There's been a lot of aviation accidents recently.
Everybody's already talking about how within 2-3 years, all the main commercial companies are going to no longer have 2 pilots. They're going to have a 1 pilot cockpit. The rest of it's going to be ran by AI.
Now, will we ever see a 150-person Southwest jet with no pilots?
100%.
You think so?
Less than 10 years.
Now, if I don't have your attention yet, let me get you really scared. Are you ready? These are the 8 top humanoid robots that are on the market. I'm only going to focus on one. I'm going to focus on the one Figure Zero from Figure AI. Why am I focusing on them? They have contracts with the top 200 Fortune 200 companies in the world. They all have made their orders to order this robot. Not only have they put in orders, but they've also said, we want the robot to be smart, and they've given it huge amounts of data. Here's the thing, not only do these robots have all the data from the top 200 Fortune 200 companies in the world, these robots have all the knowledge of every ChatGPT and AI ever given. That's what's inside the brains of these robots. It has the power of this intelligence of AI, plus all the knowledge of the top Fortune 200 companies, and this is being deployed this summer.
All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Giving double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopefully elect. Shalom to all the brothers out here laboring in this truth with sincerity. Shalom to the few sisters that watch. Just coming back with another lesson, just going into, what's to come for Babylon the Great, as well as around the world, man. As this devil moves forward with his plan, the fourth industrial revolution, which will include a whole lot of AI technology, surveillance, and ultimately the RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast. While these other guys out here playing around, making videos about nonsense, coming up against the apostles and elders, coming up against Great Millstone as a whole, doing debates, getting stomped, getting flustered by Sarnetta, all these guys, man. Esau Edom is moving forward with his plan, and if you ask me, man, these so-called prophets, which are looking like false prophets, are lulling their flock to sleep, instead of warning the people, man. We're sitting here to be watchmen and bring forth the message. But with that being said, that's enough rambling, on my end. But we see that AI is taking jobs, man, which is going to cause more homelessness, more crime, more death, more starvation, more hardship as a whole, and people are struggling right now, even with jobs, so-called good paying jobs, gas is at an all-time high, and people are out here struggling, man. So, matter of fact, we're just going to jump into some scriptures, and then we're going to get a, AI overview. But, this is coming, man. It's coming, so we must keep the faith. Keep believing in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, even though it's going to get rough, man. It's definitely going to get rough. But the thing about it is that we have faith and we have these scriptures. So this is the book of Matthew chapter 6 and verse 33. It says, but seek ye first the kingdom of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. So if you put Yahweh Hashem Yahushua at the forefront, of your life, seeking Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, doing the will of the Lord, man, you don't have to worry about what's to come. You don't have to worry about what you're going to eat. You don't have to worry about what you're going to drink. You don't have to worry about your clothes. None of this stuff, man. The Lord is going to provide as long as you're being sincere and doing what the Lord asks of you. So this is verse 34. It says, take therefore no thought for the morrow. So don't worry about what's going on. And we're applying this today, man, because, hey, brothers out here hurting, man. Every day is something. Every day is something different, but, hey, man, we got Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. We got the brotherhood. And, we truly believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. So, we just got to focus on it now, live in the present moment, definitely look forward to what's to come. But as it pertains to us, going through the struggle, things of that nature, man, we can't really worry about it. Our flesh kicks in, of course, and, doubt seeks in. But we just got to remember that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua got our back, man. So it says, for the morrow shall take, so like I need my glasses. It says, for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. So we just got to stay in the moment, man. We got to stay in the moment. And we hadn't even hit Jacob's trouble yet. We hadn't even hit Jacob's trouble. And we already feeling it, man. We're feeling it. Brothers get paid. Hey, man, 3-4 days later, your whole check is gone, man. Your whole check is gone. And you don't even know where the money went. It's not like you out here splurging, buying this, buying clothes, buying cars, buying, gambling, women, none of this stuff, man. You just on the daily grind. You just trying to survive, just trying to eat. But, that's where we are. So I just looked up AI and job loss. And it says AI is actively reshaping the labor market, with artificial intelligence cited as the primary reason for a significant portion of corporate job cuts. Layoffs heavily impact white-collar entry-level and coding analytics roles, and companies replace or downsize teams to improve productivity. And it even goes down to, it says key labor markets, layoff driver, as we see a lot of these self-driving cars here, in Atlanta, taking Uber, Lyft jobs, and you even got the little robots that deliver the food, and now you got the drones that deliver Walmart packages, man. So, this artificial intelligence is hitting hard out here, man. It's hitting hard. Now, you got AI taking orders at restaurants and stuff. I just saw this clip on Instagram. Now you got robot doctors. You don't even see the physical doctor. It's a robot that roll in, and it's got the doctor's face on it. So I guess you're talking to him through the actual robot, but you don't actually see the doctor, man. So how important is a doctor really? Because if you got a physical ailment, usually, a doctor can touch your arm and see, if it's, out of joint or if it's popping or something. But now you just go in there, paying money, sitting in a room, and talking to a robot. That's where we headed. So it says white collar impact. Unlike past automation cycles that affected blue-collar roles, recent layoffs primarily target office, tech, and service sectors, including coders, financial analysts, and legal professionals. Hiring slowdowns, mixed industry perspectives. And we know that even in these warehouses, man, you know, they're moving towards robots taking over Amazon and eventually UPS and eventually probably the post office too, man, you know. If it'll be a post office, you know, if they use drones to deliver, of course they're going to use robots, you know, eventually to deliver everything, man. So let's go to the book of Isaiah, you know, chapter 65. And we're going to drop down to verse 13, you know, which I think everything is pretty much on point right here. Well, always on point, but the whole chapter is what I'm trying to say. It is, you know, worthy to be read when applying to what we're talking about, you know. But it says, therefore, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. And it's speaking of these 2/3 out here, man. You know, 2/3, you heathen, you know, all of the people that are not covered, you know, by Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. You know, because it's going to be rough out here, man. Jacob's trouble is going to be a time, you know, as scripture says, like never before. You know, you can go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 7. The book of Daniel, chapter 12, verse 1, you know, speaks of Jacob's trouble. So, you know, it's going to be a time like never before. And we see this gradually, and at this point, it's not even gradual, man. It's happening like at an alarming rate, you know. So soon, hey, man, we don't know what next year might bring, man. Like I say, hey, don't worry about what tomorrow may bring, like we just read. So verse 14, it says, behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. Why? Because you're not gonna receive the blessings of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua when you're hungry. You know, saw a video of some Edomite lady just standing beside the road, just eating a dead deer, man. So, you know, this is where we're headed. You know, she's just she's just going back to her element. But you know, it's gonna be a whole lot of that, man. No animal around is gonna be safe in that day. If you're a dog and you roaming the streets, you're gonna be on somebody's plate, man. You know, that's what it's gonna be. You know, you out here walking a dog and somebody hungry, they see that dog, they probably gonna attack you, man, and take your dog and put him over an open fire, man. Rotisserie on a stick. So this is where we're headed. You know, this is where things are headed. Let's see. Matter of fact, let's go to Ecclesiastes. Let's go to Second Esdras, chapter 2. And we'll drop down to verse 27. Let's see. It says, be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. You know? Verse 28, it says, the heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, said the Lord. Why? Oh man, verse 29, my hand shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell. You know, so the Lord is gonna cover us, man. Cover us and our children, you know, our families, man. So we don't have to worry about it, man, as long as we abide in Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Man, so, you know, we're putting the work in now. So that the Lord will you know, look after us later, man. It's going to be deadly out here. Deadly out here, man. Let's see. Let's go to the Ecclesiastes chapter 12. And we'll just go to verse 1. It says, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not. So now is the time. Now is the time to acknowledge Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You know, come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments. You know, we know we're in this sinful flesh. We're in Babylon the Great, and some things are not possible, you know, to accomplish at this moment, you know. But eventually, it's lucky I forgot to turn off notifications or whatever. But, you know, eventually, man, come on, man. Lost my train of thought. You know, eventually, the evil days are coming, you know, if I'm on track. Let me see, let's read that again. Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 1, it says, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, you know. And hey, who is living in pleasure right now anyway? You know, who's living pleasureful or whatever, pleasurous life right now? You know, outside of the rich and the elite. No one, man. If you're an average everyday worker, you're struggling out here, man. You're struggling out here. And it's only going to get worse. So let's go to the NLT. Stay in this chapter. But we're going to drop down to verse 4. It says, remember him before the door to life's opportunities is closed and the sound of work fades. Now you rise at the first chirping of birds, but then all their sounds will grow faint. You know, you waking up early to go to work, man. Birds out there chirping, all happy, you know. Sun's coming up, you know. You waking up, you going. But soon, all that is going to fade away, man. You know, hey, you ain't going to see too many people getting up. You ain't going to see too many people at all, you know. Yeah, it's about to get ugly out here, man. It's about to get ugly out here. Let's see. Remember him before you become fearful of falling and worrying about danger in the streets. Because there's going to be a whole lot of danger in the streets, man. Going to be a whole lot of danger in the streets. You know, that's what's coming. That's what's coming. But, you know, and it keeps going, you know, just remembering the Lord, coming back to the Lord, repenting and being converted, you know, because who's going to save you in that day, man? All the false idols are going to be brought down, and all the people, the false prophets that's not sincere, doing it for monetary gain.